I would like you to use this screencast to help you write effective body paragraphs. In this lesson, you will explore the following key terms: PI, main idea, controlling idea, topic sentences, and transitions. Now, PI is something that you should be familiar with by now. You have a handout on it in your binder as a resource, a general resource. So you merely need to just reference your notes as I review what this PI acronym is for and what it has to do with body paragraphs. As you recall, the P in PI stands for point, the I in PI stands for your illustration, and the E in PI stands for your explanation. Now, something new that I want you to consider is, well, this isn't new, that your point is your topic sentence. However, this is new, that your point is a topic sentence that should contain a main idea and a controlling idea. And we'll discuss that in just a moment. Something else to consider is that in PI, we might call this double PI, but you really should be using in your essays two forms of support, so two pieces of evidence to support your point, and that's the little note I have to you here. So even on your outlines, you'll find that there's room for two pieces of evidence to support your point, at least two. Okay, so now into this business about the point being a main idea and a controlling idea in one topic sentence. So please take notes. Anytime you see this little yellow box at the top of your screen or this slide, I want you to take notes. So main idea versus controlling idea. Your point or your topic sentence should contain both. So the main idea is the subject or topic a writer is discussing. The controlling idea is the writer's position and or belief about the topic or the writer's thoughts about the topic. Really, the controlling idea is what you have to say about the topic. So here's an example. When people follow the crowd, they may dismiss their own goals just to fit in. So following the crowd is the main idea or the topic. I could say a lot about following the crowd. However, I specifically want my readers to think about the way when people follow the crowd, they dismiss their own goals, meaning they ignore their own goals. They reject their own goals to fit in. So here I have a little stick figure guy saying, I control what readers think about a topic. So you should feel empowered by establishing a controlling idea. You really are shaping the way you want readers to understand a topic or your main idea. So I'd like you to practice identifying the main idea and controlling idea in these example topic sentences. Now, a few lessons ago, we talked about the purpose of writing. So these topic sentences vary in purpose. Some are more argumentative in nature. You'll see that the first one is more expository in nature or informative in nature. However, the application is the same in that you should be able to identify the main idea and the controlling idea in each sentence. Okay, so you're going to add this practice to your notes. Okay, again, so you're going to copy each of the sentences down in your notes. You're going to circle the main idea and underline the controlling idea in each of the topic sentences. 1. Exercising 30 minutes a day is a sure way to maintain good physical health. 2. Bullying is more common than you think. 3. Studying your notes is the only way to pass most tests in school. 4. Students should be required to wear uniforms. Now, pause this video so you can take time to write down the sentences and practice identifying the main idea and controlling idea in each sentence. When you're done doing that, then you can unpause and continue to watch the screencast. So here's the answer key. I hope you saw that in the first sentence, exercising is the main idea. Well, there's a lot people could say about exercising. We could talk about the different types of exercise. We could talk about the benefits of exercise. In this sentence, we see that the main idea is exercising, and the controlling idea, what we want readers to think about exercising, is how it's a good way, a sure way, to maintain good physical health. 2, bullying is more common than you think. Well, bullying is the main idea, right? And there's a lot that could be said about bullying. You could talk about how there's cyberbullying. You could talk about how bullying happens in schools. You could talk about your own experience with bullying, and that would be more narrative, right? However, based on this topic sentence, what we want readers to think about the topic of bullying is that it's common, more common than people would think. 3, studying is the main idea. Well, there's a lot that could be said about studying. You could talk about the different strategies for studying, right? But in this case, it appears that we want readers to only focus on the fact that studying is the way to pass tests. And finally, in sentence 4, students is the main idea. And there's so much to be said about students, right? If you just wrote a topic sentence that in this paragraph I will talk about students, that doesn't give readers any direction. So you really want to help shape your readers' thinking about what you want them to know about students. And this topic says that students should be required to wear uniforms. Okay, moving right along. So here's another slide in which you will need to take notes. Okay, so strong points, the P in PI or topic sentences, should really do the following. They should help readers understand what the rest of the paragraph will be about. You shouldn't say, in this paragraph, I will talk about sports, or I will talk about blank, whatever your main idea is. That's not enough information. You really need to include a main idea and a controlling idea, and give an overview of what the paragraph will be about. You should use clear and specific wording. Avoid really vague language like they when you haven't established who the they is, for example, right? This does not mean I want you giving your evidence or explaining your evidence in your topic sentence or point. I don't want that. Save that for the remaining part of your body paragraph. And finally, you should work to use really interesting or sophisticated vocabulary and or an appropriate tone. So if it's an expository essay, in which your task is to write an expository essay, you'll want to use more of a formal and, in many cases, objective tone, right? But you can still choose really selective language. Again, pause this if you need more time, and I think you will, to copy down this information. So here is an example body paragraph on the topic of, or the main idea of, following the crowd. So I've used the same topic sentence that you saw in an earlier slide, and I'm going to let you pause the screencast so you can read at your own pace. However, I do want to point out a few things to you before you read. So I've color-coded this paragraph. The first sentence is the point, and it's in bold. I've identified the main idea and the controlling idea. The text that's highlighted in this baby blue is the illustration or the evidence. And the text highlighted in this lime green color is the explanation of how the evidence supports the point. Now, just visually, I want you to look at the way that the explanation is really pretty much twice the amount of evidence that's provided. So if we just visually look at this paragraph, especially with it being color-coded, the explanation is almost, if not twice as long as the illustration, which means that your body paragraph should not be mainly quotes, 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 quotes. Yes, you want to use quotes, but the quotes really support your thinking. You really want to take some time to explain the evidence. There's no way your evidence should be longer than your explanation. Your illustration shouldn't be a whole paragraph practically, and you give one sentence explanation. So as you pause this slide and you read the body paragraph, look at the way in which this writer explains the evidence and really shows the thinking behind using this evidence. You might be saying, well, what are the parts that aren't highlighted? Well, the text that isn't highlighted, this is actually the context or background of the quote or the evidence that's used, which suggests that you need to give some background about your sources. You shouldn't just be sticking in quotes left and right and not explaining any context about the source or the quote in which you're using, okay? And then finally, the last sentence is something that I want you to try, okay? And it really summarizes what you want the reader to take away from this paragraph. It reiterates the point, meaning it explains the point again, but in a new way using what you talked about for your evidence. So you really should work to have some kind of concluding sentence to wrap that paragraph up. Again, pause so you can take time to read this slide. The next thing I want to talk to you about is transition words. We are used to transition words: first, for example, moreover, finally. But I really want to challenge your thinking about transitions. Yes, you want to use these words all throughout your essay, all throughout your body paragraphs and sentences, okay? But you can do more to connect ideas in your paragraph. You can do that with sentences. So take the thoughts from the body paragraph on the previous slide and think about how I would connect that paragraph to a new one. So here's an example. When you're connecting ideas together with a sentence, it really allows you to show your thinking. So, following the crowd is not always negative, however. Some people use crowds to help promote social movements so people can come together to make a difference. So what I've done is, if I was writing an essay using that paragraph on the last slide, this one, it was quite negative. It talks about the way people essentially give up on their dreams. No, I'm just kidding. No, give up on maybe getting help or give up on their faith just to fit in the crowd. So that's what this paragraph's about, right? And that's kind of negative. So what you might do to move on to the next paragraph that's not so negative, you would actually highlight that for your readers and say, following the crowd is not always negative, however. So that's connecting the ideas or the thought behind the previous paragraph and connecting it to the new one. So I want you, and this would be an effective topic sentence or point for this next paragraph. Okay, this would be a good transition. You need to be connecting ideas. Okay, some resources that will help you write these body paragraphs. You'll need to use your graphic organizer. Okay, you'll use the ideas here to help you add information, whether it's context or actual quotes that you can use in your body paragraphs. Your dialectical journal will help, and also I gave you a resource on transition words, should be in the general resource section of your binder, and this can help you think about words to use to connect ideas in addition to sentences. So all of these resources will help you write your body paragraph or paragraphs. Okay? Remember to outline first and then draft. Thanks.